For us, the sole focus of everything that we're doing is always driven around student experience. Laneway was created to basically create an experience for our international students that we thought was unique. Obviously one of a kind that no one else had managed to crack yet. And I'm really happy to sit here right now and say that we've done it. And we're up and running. Our intakes that we've had so far, the feedback has been very, very positive. While we've still got lots of areas to grow and develop, what we've landed with has been exactly what we wanted when we started out 18 months ago thinking about this project. For us, the sole focus of everything that we're doing is always driven around student experience. So that includes student outcome and career opportunities afterwards, but it's really about the student experience. We want people to be involved with Laneway and experience something that they didn't expect. And as a result of putting that experience together, one of the opportunities that we saw, and obviously from being in the space for a long time, I was aware of, was that there was an opportunity in the vocational education and training space to do what we are now doing, which was to create an environment for our students where they get to learn inside of an existing ecosystem. So we didn't have to follow a common trend of bringing in speakers or bringing in the industry to where the school was based. We actually wanted to put the school inside of an existing thriving ecosystem. So the minute you set foot into the space, you can't help but feel the energy, feel the excitement, feel everything that's going on. And as a result of being able to do that, which was very difficult, it took a long time to do, and as a result of that, we end up now being here and being the only provider that's been in a position to offer that. It means that we're able to then give the students the experience that we wanted, which includes a whole range of things, not only being in a state-of-the-art facility, getting exposure to where we think the world of work is going with co-working space and an open plan, sort of working and cohabitating with other businesses and with your peers, but also an environment that allows us to really build those skills that we think are important, and they aren't necessarily about becoming an entrepreneur, although we would encourage anyone to take that avenue. It's really about developing the skills that those types of people have. The ability to solve problems, to think outside of the box, to work as part of a team, to multitask, to start a project, think it through and actually deliver it. So whether those skills end up meaning that the student ends up becoming an entrepreneur, or whether it means that they end up becoming an employee and more of an intrapreneur and using those skills for an existing business, we support all of those avenues. And on top of all of that, we're able to provide our students with an opportunity to actually participate in projects with real brands, real businesses, real founders, so they can develop those skills in a real environment, get to work with different people that they wouldn't normally work with, and ultimately at the end of their studies not only gain the qualification but end up with a portfolio of work that allows them to sit down with a potential employer or a potential partner if they decide to go it on their own and say, well, over the past 12 months or 18 months while I studied in this ecosystem, I learned all these great skills, and I also got to work on these fantastic projects and have a really clear outline of what the project was, what I did as part of that project, and an outcome. And we think that that's a huge gap in the vet space at the moment, particularly in the business, management, marketing spaces. And we're really happy, again, to be, I guess, sitting here right now saying that we've managed to get the model right. The brands that are wanting to work with us and the projects that our students are currently working on are fantastic. And that'll be something that we will then continue to grow as we move forwards. And I think that for me, the most important thing for us is that the bedrock of being able to provide that customer experience is quality and compliance. And even though they are terms that sometimes people, turn their nose up and they think that if you have quality and compliance, you can't have great experience. I guess for me, it's really important that for our international students, they know that they're studying in a provider that takes those aspects of the business seriously. They aren't here for a short term, they are here for a long-term play or a long-term vision. So everything that we do is driven by that, whether that's down to the quality of the staff that we employ, the processes and systems that we have in place, all the activities that we do to make sure that our content is compliant and validated, and all those sorts of things that don't really make much sense to a student until they're told, hey, your qualification is worthless because the school's lost its license. We have that as our underpinning framework, and we talk in our business about being audit ready without notice, and that's how we operate. And the challenge for us is to make sure that we can scale and grow and keep that bedrock, and so far we've been able to achieve that. So for our students, it's about walking in and knowing that I'm studying with a provider of quality. For the student, their connection to that would be based on who our academic partners are. So all of our articulation partners, some of the programs that we'll be co-delivering in the higher education space in the future. So they will understand it from that level, but we also reassure them about that. So once they get into this environment and get introduced to the methodology of how we like to learn, and they get used to the concept of there's no walls and this isn't what school used to be like, and they start to develop the skills that we want from them in a very supportive and encouraging way. I think we make very clear to our students that no one will ever have to do anything that they don't feel comfortable with. But we take them through activities and during their studies with us where they develop the confidence to look at exploring those qualities. So while our student is doing that in their bread and butter element of their program, they're also introduced to the project, which makes them have to get across the startups in this space, the businesses, the brands that we're working with, maybe the board of the company that's trying to challenge or sponsor the project. It might require them to do some off-site work or research or all of those sorts of things. So they do that as part of a team, and all of those project teams are cross-program. So it means that our business students get to work with our marketing students, who get to work with our leadership students. Our Certificate 4 students work with our advanced diplomas, so we do the project collectively together. And while they're working on that, they also get to be exposed to this wider ecosystem. So they get access to attend all of our events that happen in the space. We do yoga every week, Pilates every week, golf every Thursday morning. There's a breakfast every Friday, there's drinks every Friday afternoon. Then there's a range of speakers that come in every week, and that ranges from talent recruitment, IBM, a whole range of different brands that come in to provide additional workshops and activities for our students if they decide to participate in those. So for me, it's really about the student coming in and saying, well, I thought I was only coming in to do my course, but now I've realised that there's so much more available to me than what I very first thought. And we're giving the students a chance to pick and choose the elements that they feel most attracted to. And that varies for them, and we encourage them to do what they feel most comfortable with. We're looking for students who really understand that the world of work in the future is changing. So whether that means that they're from Japan, or they're from Spain, or they're from Brazil, or from Indonesia, and we have students from all of those countries at the moment, they all seem to have a common understanding of that I need to develop more than just my business skills or my marketing skills. I need to develop these soft skills or entrepreneurial skills for me, because they're going to be important for me when I enter the workforce, either here or back home or wherever it is that they might land up. So our students range from people who have their own business ideas, currently have a business or have no intention of ever running their own business, but all understand that it's really important to not only get a qualification that's recognised, but to learn through experience and develop those skills that they keep hearing about are important, but they don't really know how to develop them. And so that's, I guess, if I was going to paint all of our student body with a brush, that would be the closest denominator where they all come together. I think for us, the key thing is that we aren't faking anything. This is the environment. This is where it happens. The students get to catch an elevator with the founders of other startups. They get to share the space with those types of people. They can hear the noise, they can feel the energy, they can hear the cheers, they can see the tears. That is real. And for us, that was the key fundamental reason for deciding to go ahead. If we didn't have the opportunity to put our school inside the largest co-working space in the Southern Hemisphere and the third largest in the world, and by inside I literally mean in the same building, then we wouldn't have done it. Our students get to live and breathe this environment without having to actually commit and be a part of it. So there's no shock for our students who do then decide to make the jump. The other element of it is that, again, the support that we get from the fellow members of the hub is unbelievable, whether that's from the wider communities of Tank Stream Labs or Fishburners or Stone and Chalk, or the actual individual members within those hubs such as H2 Ventures, the large fintech accelerator, and all of the other groups that are part of it. They genuinely support our vision and what we're trying to provide our students. So whenever possible, they go above and beyond to even add to that student experience, which I talked about a little bit earlier. So for me, it's going to be very, very difficult to replicate that. I look forward to that happening because I think that that's what we need to do. We need to raise the bar in the quality of service and quality and experience that we do offer our international students. So I do hope that more people start to look at a similar or the same model. But for us, it's really just that experience of, and even having a situation where, you know, a founder is walking down the hallway and asks one of our students, how's their course going? And then once they answer that, the student can ask the founder, how's the MVP build going? And to have that conversation with someone that's real, I think is very unique. There's no doubting that it's easy to bring in experts and bring in people to give presentations to groups of people, and I think that's a fantastic way of doing it. But for us, it's a never-ending 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week event that we don't have to necessarily manage or control. It happens organically. And I think that's the magic that's happening inside here at the moment. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to look after each other. So we're trying to make sure that we put together a program that not only covers all of the boxes that we feel are important, that also has a little bit of movement to allow students to explore areas that they want to get better at. Whether that be, I want to improve my ability to solve problems, or I want to get better at creative thinking, or I need to get better at teamwork because I know I'm not very good at that. We try and provide an environment for students to be able to really focus in on either their areas of weaknesses that they want to get better at, or their areas of strength. So for me, it's about trying to find students and welcoming them into this environment where they understand that they really don't know what the future looks like for them yet. They're excited about what the future might hold, but the most important thing for them right now is making sure they develop the skills that they need and the knowledge they need to know that whatever comes next, I'm ready to tackle that head on. And that is really the type of student that we're looking for. This is the type of environment where we think those types of students will flourish and enjoy their time the most. And obviously, it's a school where we deal with each other on a very level basis. We consider a student as important as a teacher, as important to me, as important to anyone. So we are all the same. We're learning from each other during the whole process. And I think particularly for those students who do have a strong academic background from home or from anywhere else, is that we are not sitting them in the classroom and trying to reteach them stuff that they already know. We're challenging them to think about things in a slightly different way that means that they can finally, maybe for the first time in their life, actually use the knowledge that they have in a proactive and positive way.